Hi, and welcome back to the Unnamed Cooking Show. Unnamed for not much longer. I've got a couple ideas rattling around in my brain, so hopefully by next week we'll be able to change the name to the new name. I hope everyone's doing well. This week we're going to be doing something that is near and dear to my heart. Pizza. I love pizza. I love pizza so much, and this pizza specifically is one of my favorites. So it's homemade, from scratch pizza dough, and we're going to be cooking our pizza in the cast iron skillet in the oven on the top rack at a really high heat, and it makes the pizza just really, really great. It makes it nice and crispy, gives it almost kind of a pan pizza feel, and I'm really excited for you to try it. So let's do it.
Okay, so the first step of this pizza odyssey, we gotta make our own dough. So we're gonna start off with about 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, or just one regular packet of yeast, and 1 1/3 cups warm water. You don't want it too hot, okay? Yeast doesn't like really hot water. Oh, and you know what? I don't want to forget my 1 tablespoon of sugar. That helps to activate the yeast, gives it a little food, and helps it get all really nice and bubbly. Once you mix it in there, you whisk it with a fork, a spoon, a whisk, it doesn't matter to me. Go ahead and cover it and let it rest for 5 minutes to activate. After 5 minutes, you'll notice it's got a nice foamy head at the top. It smells a lot like bread, really yeasty, which is good because that's what we put in. Then you're going to add this to a bowl. I'm using my stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, feel free to use any other bowl. Then you can add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I do that for flavor. And then you can add in your 3 1/2 cups of bread flour, or regular flour, doesn't really matter, and 3 1/4 teaspoons of salt. Once you've added everything to the bowl, we're going to stir it for about 2 minutes. That's just to combine everything, then we're going to knead everything by hand. If you got a KitchenAid, go ahead and use the stirring attachment. If not, use a spoon. You'll notice it started to come together and form a dough. We're going to turn that out onto a floured work surface. It can be a counter, cutting board, doesn't matter to me. And go ahead and start kneading it. We're going to fold it in on itself and push, and then we're going to just keep doing that for about 5 to 7 minutes. This really helps to build up the gluten structure and give you a dough that isn't just like a cracker. We really want it to be something with body. So keep kneading for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once it's done, form it into a dough ball and put it into a greased bowl. I just use some olive oil in a glass bowl so we can see the progress. Make sure to turn the dough around once you get it in the bowl to get it all nice and greased so it doesn't stick to anything. Cover it with a cloth or some cling film and leave it for about 1.5 hours or until the dough has doubled in size. As you can see, the dough has risen really nicely, about doubled in size. You can see the bubbles from the fermentation. Go ahead and give it a nice pat and then punch it down, not too violently. We want to decrease some of the air in there so we can work with it a little bit easier. Turn that dough back out onto your floured work surface and divide it in half. At this point, you can either put the dough in the freezer if you want to store it for later, or you can make 2 pizzas, like I did. I only showed 1 in this video, but I did make 2 pizzas because 1 is not enough. Form that into a dough ball and let it rest for a couple minutes while we get the oven ready. Grab that oven rack, move it to the top position, and preheat your oven to 475 degrees. This is going to simulate the intense temperatures of a pizza oven without you actually having to buy a pizza oven, which is nice. Take this time to start shaping your dough into the rough shape of a pizza crust. You can do this by pressing firmly outwards from the center of the dough ball, but don't apply too much downward pressure because you don't want to poke a hole right through the bottom. Once you've got the dough into roughly the right shape, take your cast iron skillet, put it on the stove over medium-low heat, not medium-high, I mixed that up once, bad results. Medium-low heat, add some olive oil to the pan, and then add your dough. This is going to crisp up the bottom and make it a lot easier to work with when you start adding toppings. And I like to take this time to shape the dough even further into that disc shape by pushing it against the pan. Another trick I learned is adding a little bit of olive oil to the top of the dough before you add any toppings. This helps with making sure there's an oil barrier so that your dough doesn't get soggy when you add in sauce and other toppings like that. So that's optional, but I think it's great. And then you can also add some salt to it at this point too. Now is the best part. You're going to add your toppings. So this is a no judgment zone. I don't judge you for whatever you add, so you don't judge me. I went pretty vanilla. I did some pizza sauce, some mozzarella cheese, some onions, peppers, pepperoni, and then I added some Parmesan cheese around the edges on the crust so I can make it nice and crispy. Just before you put the pizza in the oven, check the bottom of the pizza crust and make sure it's done to your liking, and then pop that on the top rack of the oven. Set your timer for 15 minutes. After about 15 minutes, take that pizza right out of the oven, make sure it's done to your liking. You can always leave it in a little longer if you want it crisper on top, but I was impatient, so I took it out now. Transfer it to a cutting board, cut it while it's hot, and that's it, you're done.
All right, so we're finished. The pizza is done. I have a single slice that I've been really holding myself back to taste because everybody knows that fresh pizza melts through your mouth. So we're gonna try this now. The pizza actually cooked on the bottom really nicely, you can see, which I'm happy about. And yeah, let's just give it a taste. I'm afraid though, this is concerning. It's good. It tastes like pizza. The dough is really good. It's pretty yeasted. It doesn't have quite the same taste as a traditional pizza dough. Part of that is because the type of flour that we use is just standard bleach flour. A lot of times when you get pizza made in a pizzeria or something, you're using a special kind of really fine flour, 00. I don't have that. It tastes great. Sauce is good. Cheese is good. Pizza's good. I'm gonna taste the crust, just the crust. I wanna see what it tastes like. The Parmesan that I put on there toasted up really nice and gave it a lot of extra flavor. And you know, I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not just gonna dip this in ranch as soon as this video is over. You know, ranch makes pizza 100 times better, or at least the crust 100 times better, in my opinion. And remember, this is a no judgment zone. We've been over this. No judgment for what I put on my pizza, no judgment for what I dip my crust in. I don't judge you either. So, this has been a great time cooking pizza. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do make it, let me know. I love to find out how it turned out for you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you next week with another recipe. Thanks.